No one saw this coming, as we have a major Pittsburgh Penguins update to go over today that has serious implications on the future of this team. We also have some injury updates to go over and some comments from Coach Mike Sullivan. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Penguins Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos on the regular are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your Pittsburgh Penguins as we head into a pretty busy offseason, Kyle Dubas has a lot of cap space and they're heading into a very important draft. It's free. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. You get to stay up to date with everything happening with the Penguins. And speaking of everything happening with the Penguins, a lot going on just this morning. Let's dive straight into, of course, what everyone is talking about and what nobody saw coming is Kris Letang, excuse me, went under successful surgery, or underwent, I should say, successful surgery to close basically a small hole in his heart, and he is expected to make a full recovery, and the recovery time is 4 to 6 weeks, which is good news. Obviously, if it was a longer recovery, that would be pretty hard for him to come back from this offseason. We'll get into the specifics of that in a second, but obviously as you go along the article here, he had successful closure of a hole in his heart, a small hole, and the procedure was performed at a hospital there and by cardiologist Conrad Smith, and the expected recovery time for Letang is 4 to 6 weeks. So it was a successful surgery. This was announced by Kyle Dubas this morning, and this has major implications on the team moving forward because, is Kris Letang going to be able to train in the summer? They are expecting him to come back, but you never know with these things. I'm hoping Kris Letang can come back with very little issues, and Mike Sullivan said that Kris Letang's surgery was also something that was in the works for a while. This is not something that popped up in the last couple of days. This is, and it wasn't reactionary. This is something that they had been talking about. And he mentioned that Letang is a bit banged up physically anyway, and they decided it was an opportune time to get the procedure done so he wouldn't have to, finish the season while being banged up, and he can just recover from everything at the same time this offseason so he can get back to training as soon as possible and come back stronger next season, which I think is the right course of action. This was a good idea. And if you take a look here, this is from @ShellPenguins on X or Twitter, whatever we're calling it these days, but Kris Letang, in 2011, 2012, he had 3 concussions between the 2 years. He had 2 strokes in 2014 and most recently in 2023, as we remember. Broken foot and hand in 2014. He's had neck surgery. He's now had heart surgery. Despite countless other injuries, he has fought through 1,161 games. He is a true warrior. And I wanted to bring up this tweet because he is a true warrior. This is a guy, not too many guys can go through 2 strokes and continue to play, let alone all the other stuff. He's had neck surgery, the broken bones, all of that, the concussion issues, of course. He's come back from all of that and continued to play, and he was playing this season. An absolute warrior, a 3-time Stanley Cup champion with this team, and certainly going to be probably a Hall of Famer, and will certainly have his jersey retired by this organization when he does eventually retire. So pretty crazy stuff here. He did have the surgery, but it looks like he will recover, which is great news. We also have a very interesting quote from Sidney Crosby this morning that I want to play for you guys about Kris Letang, and I thought it was pretty cool. So take a listen here.
Given his history, I think he just wanted to be healthy, and that's the main thing. So it seems like it's something that is fairly, it's something that I think he's happy that he's done, and hopefully helps him.
Have you talked to him yesterday or today?
Yeah, both. I saw him here today, and then talked today. So he seems like he feels pretty good overall. I think it went pretty quick, and it's good that he got it done.
And Sid's been through so much with Kris Letang, so nice to see him speak on that this morning and everything that's been going on. So Crosby's just the absolute best. And to move on a little bit here as well, Mike Sullivan went on to say that it wasn't a reactionary thing. He was been dealing with some bumps and bruises, and we felt that it made sense to have this procedure done at this time. Surgery was successful, and he's on the mend at this point. So it's already happened. He's on the mend, and obviously 4 to 6 weeks, he should be, fully recovered and could be making a comeback. And we'll have an opportunity, I think, to recover through everything he was kind of dealing with and come back stronger than ever next year, which I think is actually very exciting. We also have some quotes I want to get to from, none other than Sidney Crosby as well. But before we do that, I want to take a look at Kris Letang's season this year, because this was his 38-year-old season, or 37, moving into 38-year-old season. He had 30 points on the year in 74 games. So obviously, he's had better years. The Pittsburgh Penguins have had better years. But one thing that stands out to me this year is this guy plays a lot. He averages almost 24 minutes of ice time a night this past season. And again, the rest of the stats, not what we know Kris Letang to do, but he is getting a little bit older. He was eating a ton of minutes for this team. And, along with Sidney Crosby and Evgeni Malkin, for that matter, the heart and soul of this team. So just wanted to point that out as well. And I think he wants to play until he's 50. That was Sidney Crosby this morning on Kris Letang as well. And, Sidney Crosby, again, given his history, I think you just want him to be healthy. That's the main thing. It seems like it's something that is fairly common. I think it's something he's happy that he's got done. Hopefully helps him. So at the end of the day, Sidney Crosby is saying, even if he doesn't return to playing, if this is the end, which it doesn't seem like it is, but if it is the end, this guy has been an absolute warrior for this team, and he's gone through so much, put his body through so much for these colors, for this city, for this organization. So I thought that was pretty cool of Sidney Crosby to say this morning. And again, Mike Sullivan said that Kris Letang is doing well, was at the rink today, and I think he's pleased that he ultimately made the decision to do it and move by it. And again, you can read some of the quote here if you want to pause it about, the bumps and bruises, the circumstances that they wanted to get it done. So it isn't anything that caused it. It was just something that's an ongoing discussion for a long period of time now. We just felt this was the opportune time to do it. Now, to move on, let me know in the comments what you think about, obviously, the whole situation with Kris Letang. It looks like he will be making a full recovery and should return to the team next year. But again, hoping for a speedy recovery for Kris Letang, and hope to see him again next season. But to move on, another guy who's been dealing with injuries. We heard, there's a lot of season-ending injuries this season that we just learned of a couple weeks ago and a couple games ago. And Pierre-Olivier Joseph, we've been waiting for an update on him. An upper body injury where he's missed 19 games now at this point, is on the ice for the Penguins, practicing with them. And he was on the ice yesterday practicing with the team, and Monday as well. So that is a good sign. It was good to see him smiling again. He was doing a media avail after practice as well, and he went on to say, it's been a hard season, a lot of movement and a lot of finding myself. To be able to come back on the ice before the end of the season, it's good. It's just a positive side to my season. So love to see that for Joseph as well. And another update from Kelsey in terms of practice. Kevin Hayes is still absent from practice. Looks like he's not going to finish the season either. Pierre-Olivier Joseph continues to slot in on the fourth line left wing next to Ponomarov and Puustinen, and it looks like he could actually factor into the game, the team's last game of the season. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on as we move into the end of the regular season here, with their last game coming against the Washington Capitals tomorrow night. And Kris Letang, of course, also absent after undergoing successful surgery to repair a small hole in his heart. So let me know in the comments what you think about Kris Letang. His season, what he's meant to this team. He's been absolutely unbelievable for this organization. And Pierre-Olivier Joseph looks like some good news. Could possibly finish the season for the team, but his health is in order, which is a good thing. It looks like he's on the mend. So let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Pittsburgh Penguins.